Have you ever wondered which nation struggled the most during the tumultuous times of World War II? This global conflict, spanning from 1939 to 1945, left an indelible mark on the fabric of human history. It was a time of great turmoil and even greater courage, a time where nations across the globe were drawn into a vortex of destruction and resilience. The main players in this epic saga were the Allied and Axis powers, each side bristling with a formidable array of military might and strategic acumen, fought tooth and nail for their ideals. Yet under the shadow of these superpowers, many nations found themselves in the throes of immense struggle. These countries, caught in the crossfire, bore the brunt of the war's devastation, their people grappling with hardships we can scarcely imagine. However, one nation's struggle stood out among the rest, a country that bore the brunt of the war's devastation. World War II was a global conflict, with many nations caught in its deadly grip. From the icy landscapes of Russia to the sun-drenched islands of the Pacific, this was a war that knew no boundaries. A war that brought nations to their knees and forced others to rise from the ashes. Taking center stage were the major powers. The United States, maneuvering their way out of the Great Depression, were forced to rally their industrial might to fuel the Allied war effort. Across the Atlantic, the United Kingdom, standing alone and defiant against the Nazi onslaught, bore the brunt of the Blitz, their cities reduced to rubble, their spirit never broken. Meanwhile, the Soviet Union, a behemoth in the East, faced the fiery wrath of Operation Barbarossa. Even as their lands were scorched, their people displaced, they held the line, turning the tide at the bloody Battle of Stalingrad. In the Pacific, the Empire of Japan, with its Bushido spirit and imperial ambitions, carved a path of destruction, pushing the boundaries of human endurance and resilience. And then there was Germany, the instigator, the aggressor. Fueling their war machine with the plundered wealth of Europe, they brought the world to the brink of annihilation, only to face the consequences of their actions in the end. To understand World War II is to understand the impact it had on these nations. Economically, it was a drain on resources, leading to rationing, shortages, and a shift in production. Socially, it brought about loss, displacement, and a change in traditional roles as women stepped into the workforce in unprecedented numbers. Politically, it led to a reshaping of the world order, the rise of superpowers, and the birth of the United Nations. Still, one nation's ordeal was particularly heart-wrenching, a country that was caught between the hammer and the anvil. Now, let us turn our attention to Poland, a nation that suffered immensely during the war. Poland, a landlocked nation, found itself in an unfortunate geographical position during the Second World War. Nestled between two aggressive superpowers, Germany to the west and the Soviet Union to the east, Poland was a battleground waiting to happen. The war had barely begun when Poland was invaded. On September 1st, 1939, Germany launched an unprovoked attack, marking the start of World War II. Barely 2 weeks later, the Soviet Union joined the assault from the east, sealing Poland's fate. This was the first demonstration of the brutal strategy known as the Blitzkrieg, or Lightning War, a devastating, fast-paced assault designed to catch the enemy off guard and quickly overwhelm them. The onslaught was devastating. Poland's military, though valiant, was ill-prepared to face the combined might of the German and Soviet forces. Cities were razed, towns were emptied, and the Polish people were forced to endure the unimaginable. The nation was partitioned between Germany and the Soviet Union, its sovereignty stripped away. Yet amid these dark times, the spirit of the Polish people shone through. Despite the overwhelming odds, they resisted. Underground movements sprang up, dedicated to fighting the occupiers. The Polish Home Army, the largest of these resistance groups, carried out sabotage, intelligence gathering, and even full-scale uprisings, like the heroic but ill-fated Warsaw Uprising of 1944. Even as their country was torn apart, the Polish people refused to yield. They fought for their freedom, their identity, and their very existence against the oppressive forces that sought to erase them. Their struggle was a testament to the indomitable spirit of humanity, a beacon of hope in the darkest of times. Poland's story is one of resilience and courage in the face of unimaginable adversity. Their struggle wasn't just against military forces, but against the erasure of their culture, their history, and their very identity. It's a story that reminds us of the cost of war and the enduring strength of the human spirit. The end of the war did not bring immediate relief to the beleaguered nation of Poland. Instead, the cessation of hostilities marked the beginning of a new set of challenges. The landscape of the country was scarred, both physically and metaphorically, by the ravages of war. Cities lay in ruins, infrastructure was decimated, and the loss of life was staggering, with millions of Poles having paid the ultimate price. The war had not only claimed lives, but had also torn apart the social fabric of the nation. Families were ripped apart, communities shattered, and the collective psyche of the nation was deeply traumatized. The sense of loss was palpable, the grief overwhelming. The physical destruction, though extensive, was perhaps the least complicated aspect of the aftermath. The true challenge lay in the political upheaval that followed. Poland found itself caught between the power struggles of the victorious allies. The nation's sovereignty was compromised and its political landscape drastically altered. The establishment of a communist government under Soviet influence marked a significant shift, leading to a period of political unrest and economic hardship. But Poland's story did not end there. The long-term impacts of the war were profound, shaping the nation's trajectory for decades to come. The scars of the war were indelible, but they also served as a reminder of the resilience of the Polish people. Despite the odds, they rebuilt their nation from the ashes, painstakingly restoring their cities, their communities, and their sense of national identity. The struggle of Poland during and after World War II was characterized by a spirit of endurance, a spirit that refused to be extinguished even in the face of unimaginable adversity. A spirit that was defined by resilience, by the will to survive, and by the determination to rebuild and move forward. Poland's struggle during and after World War II is a testament to the human spirit's ability to endure and overcome. The tale of Poland during World War II is a poignant reminder of war's devastating impact on nations and individuals alike. This nation, caught in the crossfire of powerful forces, exemplifies the true cost of global conflict. Trapped between the hammer of Nazi Germany and the anvil of the Soviet Union, Poland faced an unimaginable struggle, bearing the weight of invasion, occupation, and the Holocaust. The aftermath was no less severe. The nation was left scarred, its people uprooted, and its culture nearly obliterated. Yet, through all of this, Poland's spirit remained unbroken. Its story is one of resilience and courage, a testament to the indomitable human spirit that exists even in the darkest of times. So, when we ponder about the weakest nation during World War II, we must remember that weakness is not about the strength of armies, but the depth of suffering. And in this regard, Poland bore the heaviest burden.